Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right now I'm going to be looking at Maurane and Lara Fabian's Tu es mon autre. And now this is a duet that has been requested of me a lot over the past several weeks, and I haven't had a chance to look at it, so we're going to be looking at this relatively cold, which it sometimes works out, sometimes does not for me. So with that, I'm just going to get started with this, and let's see what these two have.
Mon sœur jumeau, frère de rien, mais qui es-tu? Tu es mon plus grand mystère, mon seul lien contigu. Tu m'enrubans et m'embrionnes, et tu me gardes à vue. Tu es le seul animal de mon âge perdu. Tu ne parles qu'une langue, aucun mot déçu. Celle qui fait de toi mon autre, l'être reconnu. Il n'y a rien à comprendre et que passe l'intrus qui n'en pourra rien attendre. Car je suis seul à les entendre, les silences, et quand j'en tremble.
I'm going to stop it here. Here's one of the things that I notice. When I did the Laura Pausini and Lara Fabian version of Solitudine, one of the things I remarked on is that the venue wasn't in their favor at all. And they were hugging their monitors and stuff like this. I didn't mention this in the video to the best of my knowledge, but it was like they were singing in an empty parking lot and there was nothing to help them. And venues matter because it makes or breaks a person's confidence. And so when I look at these two singing together, they are both very confident. They're both in the same pitch and volume and tone, and they are doing a really great job of matching each other, which in La Solitudine, in the middle part where Lara Pausini was moving through the bridge, because of the flatness of the tone of the area, the fact that when she was singing, nothing wasn't working with her, it was working against her. Everything she sang just went out into the void. She was working extra hard. Here, everybody is working very, very well together, and they're comfortable because the venue is helping them out. And so that's one thing that I wanted to point out here. And this sounds really wonderful. I love their mixing. It's really, really good.
Toi, tu es mon autre, la force de ma foi, ma faiblesse et ma loi, mon insolence et mon droit. Moi, je suis ton autre. Si nous n'étions pas d'ici, nous serions l'infini. ciel les fruits, mais jamais trop loin de l'autre. Nous serions maudits, tu seras ma dernière seconde, car je suis seule à les entendre, les silences, et quand j'en tremble, toi.
I noticed this the last time, but I'm noticing it again here that the thing that always makes me excited about watching other people sing is when they build a phrase. And in this particular last section, where you would think somebody would take a breath, they actually carry on into the next phrase, and that is something that I will have to say in modern music or very contemporary 21st century music isn't necessarily as prevalent, where people use their breath to control an entire phrase for a really long time and then, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Modify and keep adding on to the phrase to get more volume, more emphasis out of the phrase. And so I'm going to go back and we're going to look at this section here a little bit more so that you can see where they take a phrase and then they just, you think they're going to take a breath, but they keep going on.
Les fruits, mais jamais trop loin de l'autre. Nous serions maudits, tu seras ma dernière seconde, car je suis seule à les entendre, les silences, et quand j'en tremble, toi, tu es mon autre. La force de ma foi, ma faiblesse et ma loi, mon insolence et mon droit. Moi, je suis ton autre. Si nous n'étions pas d'ici, nous serions l'infini. Et si l'un de nous te tombe,
So I do want a little bit more context on this song. Um, I might look it up a little bit later, but if you can give me a little bit more context about this song, the song translates into "You Are My Other." From what I can gather from the translation, what I looked up before I began. The one thing I really love about this song and what makes it really intimate, and for those of you who've watched my Pentatonics reactions, you know that when I talked about Jolene, one of the things that I really found really um, amazing about it is how far apart their notes were when they were singing harmonies. And that made it a very Americana country sound. An American country sound, and here, and what it does, the further apart it does, the further apart the notes are, the more, or the less intimate the sound is. And so, in this particular song, the majority of the song, if not all of it, again, this is my first listen. They were really in a very close harmony, and it created that intimacy because again the song is "You Are My Mother," so they're not going to have these really awkward chord structures like fourths, fifths, and sixths, which ugh. I mean they can create those bigger spaces between notes can create some distance and some dissonance and some um, uh, negative energy. I'll call it that. I don't know how else to describe it, but this was a very intimate song, so the harmony structure was really really good, and they were very. I don't think they ever were in unison. So um, again, that was that intimacy, and these two are really well put together as a duo because what they bring to the table is they both have similar tones, meaning that they know how to open their mouths in the same way and keep the same vowel structures and stuff like this. And I noticed this sort of stuff because when I was listening, everything was together. And if they're not, you'll know if somebody doesn't open their mouth as wide that the tone will change. Um, and they're really good at that. So I'm blithering on, and I could go on and on about this sort of stuff. What parts of this particular performance really um, ring for you? I mean, again, there's the lyrics, the very intimate lyrics that go along with this, which is reinforced by the harmonies that they use, and again, these two people are friends. I could figure that out. I didn't need. I know that in the comments, people have said that they've known each other for a while, and I know that Maurane is no longer with us. But um, from what I understand, yes, I could be wrong, but I remember in the comments that being said. So let me know what you think. Put your timestamps in there, and tell me what you think about this particular song. Again, it's one of those great songs where it has the phrasings and all that the stuff that I really look for when I'm geeking out on music. As you can tell, I none of my Lara Fabian reactions end up being like 2 minutes longer than the actual performance. It's usually I go on for like 10, 15 minutes talking about things. Um, but yes, tell me what parts of this performance really struck you, because again, it's an amazing duet. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys enjoy your day. I hope all is going well for you, in wherever it is that you are, and as always, be safe.